novel coronavirus began infect our country, medical staff at COVID-19 screening center has never neglected the SOP, which is wearing full self-protective clothing PPE. The purpose of the medical staff wearing PPE to protect themselves while can provide effective treatment to patients. One of the PPE is surgical gown that has highest demand now. For this case study, we choose surgical gown to find appropriate material and manufacturing technique to produce surgical gown. There are 4 strategies to perform material selection, which is translation, screening, ranking, and documentation. The translation has a design requirement that expresses as function, constraint, objective, and pre-variable. Function of the surgical gown is to prevent transfer of microorganisms and body fluid from patient to medical staff. So it will protect the medical staff while give the treatment to patient. The constraint is a requirement that must be meet its strength. So the surgical gown strength is tensile strength. Tensile strength is like a stretchable, so we can know how much the surgical gown will stretching until it breaks when attached to the load. The next step is screening process. It based on the constraint. Screening process function is to eliminate the material that not fulfilling the all material needs criteria. Firstly, we determine the material index. Material index is based on the objective, which is to minimize weight, to minimize cost. And we get the two equations, M1 and M2. After determining the material index, we use CCS DEFECT software to choose the best 4 material for surgical gown. We get the polypropylene, polyethylene, polyester, and polyurethane. From CES also, we can identify the material properties value data and we can calculate the material index each material. Then we can see the polyurethane has a highest weight and highest cost. So we eliminate the polyurethane because it not achieve the objective in this material selection. The next step is ranking. Material properties value that get from CES can help to rank each material properties. So polyethylene get the highest score, which is 55 with a cheapest cost, good tensile strength, high resistance, then lightweight. These 3 materials are proceed to the last step. Last step is documentation step. Documentation step is a like supporting information that need for each material. Supporting information can get through our research, journal, and internet. From supporting information, we get the polyethylene and polypropylene has a history in application medical devices such as apron, surgical gown, face mask. Between polyethylene and polypropylene, the both has a good performance, but the polyethylene are the most suitable material for surgical gown. Because our objective is to minimize cost and polyethylene has a more cheapest cost compared to polypropylene, although it also has highest tensile strength. So polyethylene can achieve our objective in this material selection surgical gown.
The first process is shaping process, the BLOW-MOLTEN extrusion molding. The polyethylene used is in pellet form. The pellet form starts to travel in molten state at extruded assembly until the melt-blown die assembly. The semi-molten state occurs at the collector, and the microfiber is wounded into cardboard core in winding unit. Next is joining process. We use the ultrasonic sewing machine. The ultrasonic sewing machine is automatically machined the weld and stitch of fabric or non woven together without thread or needle because it is threadless. So the special structure of the machine make it easier to weld the sleeve. And lastly is finishing process. The process used is polymer powder coating. This process uses electrostatic gun where the powder coating is electrostatically applied and cured under heat or ultraviolet light.
Now I am going to present a flowchart that's showing every step of production process. The first one, we start with background extrusion process, which is use a stream of high velocity air to blow molten thermoplastic, which is it is the main process of shaping process. Then proceed to resin feed system, which is the raw material in resin bag and gravity feed to the extruder hopper. Then we go to the extruder assembly when we receive the feed. Then from extruder assembly, the output will fed to the metering pump that designed to deliver constant volume of clean polymer. Then, map-blown die assembly is a process to form the map blown of non-woven fabric. The function of a collector is to remove the hot ice cream and to help to cool the fabric. Okay, then after the coolant fabric is worn onto a cardboard core in the winder unit. After the fabric is complete, the fabric will taken to the quality control for further inspection. And if yes, it will. The next action is digital manufacturing, which is we use to produce surgical gown by using designing, cutting, and sewing. For sewing, we use ultrasonic sewing machine without using thread or needle, which is also the main part of joining process. Then proceed to the polymer powder, which is the main part of finishing process. Then the surgical gown then is produced. Okay, and if no at the quality control, it will go to the thermal bonding as additional process to produce a good fabric.
Today I want to present the manufacturing process selection strategy based on process method of shaping, joining, and finishing. This is a requirement of the translation. First, the function of the translation is surgical gown. For constraint, have material using polyethylene, fabric non-woven, mass, density, surface, and thickness. The objective of this process is to minimize cost, and free variable is choice of process. The process selection strategy is screening. This is a requirement for the constraint before this, and the screening have three processes. First process is process shaping, process joining, and process finishing. The process shaping have three processes. First, rotational molding, compression molding, polymer extrusion. For process joining, have sewing process, snap fit, and rivet and staplers. For process finishing is polymer powder coating. This is a data from the test. Third, this is a ranking of the process selection strategy. We can see the data from the CES. For process shaping, the highest score is polymer extrusion. Then, the highest score for process joining is sewing, and for finishing, we choose the polymer powder coating. So that this ranking for process shaping is polymer extrusion, while the process joining is sewing, and process finishing is polymer powder coating. Lastly, the process selection strategy is documentation. We can see this is a last result for the produce a surgical gown. For process shaping, we choose the polymer extrusion. For joining, we choose a sewing, and lastly, for finishing, we choose polymer powder coating.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Akila. Now I will present about effect parameter of surgical gown performance. For shaping, we choose polymer powder, polymer extrusion molding. The parameter is 3 zone for extruder assembly, hot temperature, webs, and finer fiber. For example, hot temperature. Hot temperature, the degree should be 215 until 240 for die assembly. This is to ensure it produces uniform defect free webs for the product. Okay, for joining, we choose sewing. The parameter is seam tensile strength and seam efficiency. Seam tensile strength and seam efficiency depend on thread types and stitch type. The higher the strength of thread, the higher the seam strength. Thus, give better efficiency of performance of seam for the product. Lastly, for the finishing, we choose polymer powder coating. The parameter is molecular weight and degree of recrystallization. For example, degree of recrystallization is affecting on the hardness and density of material. The higher the degree of recrystallization, the higher the hardness and degree of material, density of material. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Arni Nabila. I will present to you about testing and quality control. Testing is very important in manufacturing because it helps us to understand and quantify whether a specific material or treatment is suitable for a particular application. In this assignment, we followed the American Society for Testing and Materials, which is the testing method we choose is tear resistant, seam strike, link generation, evaporative resistant, and water vapor transition. And for quality control, we choose a method which is fitting and sizing, packaging, prototype, testing. Quality control is to increase the productivity and to ensure the product meet the customer satisfaction.
I am going to present about defect and how to control the defect of surgical gown. First defect is defective spraying. Possible cause is air manifold supply inadequate velocity headed air stream to the extruded fiber that are outputted from the diagnosed piece. Possible solution is the air hot stream must be supplied with a high velocity and high temperature, which is 230 degrees Celsius up to 360 degrees Celsius, with the velocity of 500 to 900 feet per second. Second defect is defective bonding. Possible cause for defective bonding is the air gap of the non-woven web will reduce the strength of the non-woven fabric and also the stiffness of the fabric. Possible solution for this defect is thermal bonding process is applied to improve the quality of non-woven fabric. Besides, thermal bonding is used to increase the strength of the bond with resulting of increase in stiffness of the non-woven fabric.
Conclusion, material and manufacturing process are an integral part of design of product. As for material selection, design requirement and material properties involve with each other to obtain the best result. As for the process selection, it is to ensure that the process and material selection is suitable with each other in order to get a good product. Lastly, each analysis helps to define the product and development process. Thank you.